Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Tuesday morning to you all. Hope you guys are having an awesome start to your day and a great week so far. Got you an update on what's going to unfold today. Expecting a few areas to watch as far as severe weather. One area has a small tornado risk, and that is areas of the Northeast, Pennsylvania, New York State. There is a little small corridor we need to watch out for. There is a threat for severe weather in Arkansas, Tennessee, that kind of area, the Mississippi Valley. We're going to talk about that. And then the highest threat level for severe weather is expecting to cross Kansas, Nebraska, in the middle of the country, the plains. So we're going to break down each area and everybody else also, and really talk about what could unfold today. It could be a pretty active day for a lot of people, today for your Tuesday in the weather world. So we're going to break that down, talk about what we know, and try to figure this thing out for you guys. So if you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. You got any questions, put it in the comments. Very slow times right now. And if you guys have a Facebook and you're active on it and you want another way to stay up to date with the weather, hit me up on Facebook. Click that icon right there and just give my Facebook a like. I have a goal right now to get to 10,000 likes. It's a big goal of mine. And I tell you what, when things are really, really active, especially if you live in the eastern U.S. and the southeast, that is a great way to follow along, as I'm constantly making updates when we have a hurricane threat or a winter storm threat or severe weather threat. It's a great way to tag along and stay up to date. Twitter is also a very great way to do it, but I know not as many people have Twitter. But if you guys got anything that I can pray about, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over them in the mornings when I wake up, have some quiet time. So definitely do that. It gives others an opportunity to pray over it also. So let's get rolling this morning. I'm having jaw pain this morning, so definitely prayers for that. I'm 30 years old, but it feels like each year I get older, I wake up with weird, strange pains that I've never dealt with before. But I guess that's just part of getting older. But it goes away throughout the day, so it's not a big deal. I've had it before about 6-7 years ago, so I felt this before, but it's just probably just sleeping on my face wrong or something like that. But anyways, weather. So we have a couple areas we need to watch out for. There's an area up here that's a tornado risk. We'll talk about that. And then there is also an area right here in Arkansas, areas of western Tennessee, areas of eastern Oklahoma. We need to watch out for this. This is a severe weather threat. And then here's our big daddy of threat for today, where we have an enhanced risk for portions of southern Nebraska, northern Kansas, where we could really have some active weather today. The tornado threat isn't the biggest threat, but it is a threat. But, these storms are going to be supercell in nature. The storm mode is going to be supercell, meaning they're going to be isolated. And when they're isolated like this, really all your threats become maxed out, and the tornado threat is the highest. But this will eventually shift to a line of storms that will move through areas of the middle of the country, like areas of southeast Nebraska, areas of far eastern areas of Kansas, obviously northern areas too. So we got a large slight risk too. So you got other areas that are under the gun for severe weather too, including eastern Colorado, the panhandle of Texas, and Oklahoma. Even an area of northeast New Mexico, we need to watch out for. But that enhanced risk, that is really what we're watching for today. Tornado threat, like I said, that little 2% slither right here into New York State and Pennsylvania. This includes a big city like Pittsburgh that we need to watch out for. Small tornado threat, low pressure moving into southeast Canada, but there will be enough dynamics right into here, kinematics, meaning the wind energy that supports basically a tornado threat aloft. So there'll be a little spin to these storms that develop later this afternoon after the first early area of rain moves through. We got to watch out for this too. There's a 5% risk of a tornado in that enhanced region. Very low, but it's still a threat level we need to watch out for. Wind threat, you have a 15% risk right down here of damaging winds approaching 50 knots or higher and 25 miles at any given point. So watch out for that. And then you have a 30% risk of damaging winds of 50 knots or higher and 25 miles at any given point in this location. So that's the 30% chance that's getting on up there. There's going to be damaging winds in this area today. Someone's going to see it. Hail threat today, you got this 30% risk right here of hail approaching 1 inch or diameter or larger in 25 miles in any given location. Then you got the 15% risk of the same threshold. And then you see this black outlined area. That is a 10% risk inside of those other risk areas of seeing 2-inch or diameter or larger hail. So we call this a hatch risk. So there is a significant chance for larger hail, 2-inch or diameter or 2 inch in diameter or higher is really starting to get into that large hail category. So we need to watch out for that today. For large hail, especially early on, as the storm mode earlier in the afternoon will be supercell mode before they transition to more of a linear mode, which means more of a line of storms. And they can be a Boeing line of storms too, which really increases the damaging wind threat. But right now we have a lot of energy scooting across the southern plains. In fact, you can see it right here from the water vapor loop. And if we look at the radar out of Oklahoma City, we actually have a flash flood threat ongoing that could potentially move into Oklahoma City. This is a pretty slow moving big time storm. It's severe weather warned, so we need to watch out for that. No tornado warnings or anything, but if you look right here, the green areas, that is flash flood warnings. We need to watch out for this as this scoots probably south of Oklahoma City, and a lot of rain and things north of Oklahoma into southern areas of Kansas and things like that. So we need to watch out for that. If we look at the HRRR model as a whole, a broadened look, I'll zoom into each region, Arkansas and then Nebraska, but really breaking down the entire evolution of how this could evolve today. We'll start this off by around 4 p.m. We already have storms over here. We'll talk about that here in a second. But going throughout the day and the afternoon, the evening hours around 4, 5, 6 p.m., you get isolated supercells that begin to pop up in eastern Colorado, and then even some supercells trying to form in northeast New Mexico. These, if you're a storm chaser out here, these could be very photogenic. I mean, look at this storm right here. Has a nice hook to it, entering the panhandle of Oklahoma. But look how isolated and discrete these are. These could be dangerous. When they're discrete, obviously you have a lesser chance of your specific area being impacted, but you never know if your specific area is impacted by one of these supercells. I know the population out here isn't near as dense as it is further to the east or further to the west, but there's still small towns and communities out here that you need to watch out for these storms. You'll see these coming. These will probably look like, almost a spaceship. These will probably be have a very nice structure to them is what I'm trying to say. But large hail, a tornado threat. Very quickly, these will try to kind of congeal together as you're moving it through the evening hours. And in fact, they will in southern areas of Nebraska and then eventually move into areas of Kansas a little bit later today. Then watch out Kansas City, for example, a little bit later into the overnight hours. These could pack a punch and wake you up in the middle of the night. Tonight if you're in Kansas City, for example. But these will really have a damaging wind and a large hail threat to them right into here. So please watch out for this area today. And then we watch out for these storms in western Tennessee and areas of Arkansas today, as these could have a damaging wind and a large hail threat to them right into this area right here. But we'll zoom into this a little bit closer. And in fact, let's do this right now. Let's make sure these are in 1 hour intervals. So as we're getting into about 1, 2 p.m. Central Time, we already have some showers and storms developing along that Tennessee border, right here, the southern border, Mississippi, Alabama. Watch out for some streamers right here, some showers and storms moving west to east a little bit later this afternoon, probably mid-afternoon hours. But then you watch this area of central Arkansas. The storm coverage might not be widespread, but whoever does get hit by a storm, it could be quite intense. In fact, you're looking here in western Tennessee, well northeast of Memphis. This could be a pretty powerful storm. It's trying to predict where one of these storms could really pop up at, but obviously a short range model is not going to be able to predict exact things like this. But these storms could be severe, and in fact I'm expecting many of them to be strong to severe. But watch out this storm right here, northeast of Memphis today. If you're in this area of western Tennessee, watch out. And then you have more storms to develop. Even watch out in Memphis. You never know if these storms are going to go over you. Or there's a chance that maybe, for example, Memphis doesn't see any storms. Little Rock, you're under the gun today for some severe storms, but you could go the entire afternoon and evening without anything. So it just could be one of those days where they're very isolated, but the ones that do develop in this region today could be significant, strong to severe. A little bit closer look at Nebraska. Make sure this is in 1 hour. This will really get going a little bit later this afternoon. These storms will probably start firing off probably around 2 p.m. or so, but they'll start moving into areas of western Nebraska. This is Colorado right here. And then look at the storm mode of these. I mean, these are very discrete, very isolated, very dangerous. And they'll move out of South Dakota. The energy will move out of South Dakota. And then obviously the dynamics right in this region right here will be maxed out, meaning You got the high CAPE levels. When I say CAPE, I think of that as storm fuel in the atmosphere just waiting to be ignited and taken advantage of basically by storms that are moving through areas with that fuel in the atmosphere. The storms move over it, they intensify, they're ignited, and then they can cause trouble. But I mean, look at these isolated storms in areas of west central Nebraska. You got storms starting to move into areas of northwest Kansas. And then watch out Omaha a little bit later this afternoon. North Platte, watch out this evening. You guys might be under the gun. Areas, trying to zoom in and mention some cities. Grand Island, you guys right in this region could be under the gun later this evening around dinner time. And these become quite intense probably later this evening in this region of southern Nebraska. When I say quite intense, damaging wind, large hail, and an isolated tornado threat. But this really congeals into maybe a Boeing segment of storms right here to really promote a damaging wind threat. Watch out Omaha. You might be on the northern fringe of the nastiest weather, but you never know. This could tweak south, this could tweak north, and please be careful as these storms continue to move in to areas of northeast Kansas. We'll keep going. We'll look at the southeast as a whole and how this can unfold today. In the southeast, not expecting a whole lot of weather, but watch out. You're dealing with a little bit of showers and storms already in eastern Tennessee. And then we'll get into the midday, the early afternoon hours, maybe some storms kind of sneaking into the eastern side of the Appalachian Mountains and making its way into North Carolina a little bit later this afternoon, to northern Georgia, northern Alabama, the upstate of South Carolina around dinner time. And then watch out. These storms could be powerful. The further west you get with the storms, probably the more intense they can be as far as the severity level. Then watch out Florida today. You guys are going to be under the gun with some storms. Key West, probably a stormy day down there. You never know when you have an isolated tornado. You had multiple tornadoes reported in Florida yesterday, so you just never know. Florida is its own thing down there, and it gets kind of dicey down there weather-wise sometimes. But getting into the evening, just widespread showers and storms from basically northern Mississippi, northern Alabama. They become a little bit more isolated in nature as you move east into the Carolinas and North Georgia. But you guys could definitely see some showers up here in the mid-Atlantic. But, I'm talking about this last, but if you're in the Northeast, be careful today. You're going to have an area of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, some storms that move through with the initial wave of convection. Convection meaning showers, storms. Think of that when I say convection. This moves through. The atmosphere tries to recover in areas of Ohio, areas of western Pennsylvania, western New York State, far western New York State. And these storms right here could produce a quick spin up. The dynamics are there for maybe a quick supercell or two with this broken up line of storms, even into areas of eastern Ohio. Watch out. These could produce a quick tornado. So watch out for warnings. Not expecting a tornado outbreak or anything like that, but these could produce. They really could. So please be careful in this area today. The north central U.S., a pretty quiet day, especially the further north you go, kind of like yesterday. There will be some storms in Iowa today that you need to watch out for later this evening. But the severity level of these will be lessened somewhat compared to your areas to your west and southwest. But moving forward here, some storms and some showers could move into areas of southern Wisconsin, maybe northern Illinois as the sun is going down, and maybe just some isolated showers for these regions up here in Minnesota, maybe Wisconsin, just some sprinkles. Temperatures today remains almost spring-like for you folks in the north central U.S. You're hanging on to the 70s. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, the northern sections of the Ohio Valley, just 60s and 70s today as a trough has kind of swung through this area, but you're starting to warm up. The humidity is beginning to increase again for the southeast, warming back up into the 80s and 90s. And just this air mass right here will be primed for storms, so watch out in this area right here. But in general, that's pretty much all I got. Y'all stay safe today with a stormy day expected, and God bless everybody, and I'll talk to y'all this evening.